You are listening to PastThink.com audiobook. Please like and subscribe, thank you. Chapter 2. Shurjin leaves during the night. Major Luda assaults Butcher Zheng. The bandit chiefs knelt down, saying, "Elder brother, you are guiltless and we do not wish to involve you. You can take a rope and bind us, and ask for the reward." "That will not do," said Shurjin. "I invited you to come here, and if I seize you for the reward everybody will jeer at me. If this is your time for death, I will die with you, if to live, then I will live with you. Please get up, be at your ease, and let us think of another plan. Wait until I have asked the soldiers why they come here." Shurjin climbed the ladder and called out, "Why do you men come here in the third watch of the night?" The inspector replied, "Sir, you need not say that you are not guilty as we have the accuser Li Ji here." Shurjin shouted, "Li Ji, why do you falsely accuse an innocent person?" "I really do not know," replied Li Ji. "In a forest I got a letter from Wang IV, and the same day I read it before the yamen, and this is the result." Shurjin addressed Wang IV, "You said there was no reply, so how is this?" "I forgot the letter because I was drunk," answered Wang IV. Shurjin shouted, "You brute." The inspector outside was afraid of Shurjin, and dared not enter the farm to arrest the men. The three bandit chiefs pointed their fingers and said to Shurjin, "Speak only to those outside." Shurjin understood and said, "You two constables need not use force. I will give them over and you can escort them to the yamen where you can ask for the reward." The two constables replied, "We have no business here. We are waiting for you to come out and go with us to get the reward." Shurjin descended the ladder, and catching Wang IV took him into the garden and killed him with a sword. He then ordered the servants to pack up all the valuables and light about 40 torches. He and the three bandit chiefs armed themselves, one sword in the hand and a smaller one in their waist. They set fire to the huts at the back of the farmstead, and the soldiers immediately rushed there. Shurjin set fire to the building in the center of the enclosure. He opened the gates and called to his men to kill anyone they met. He was in the front, Zhu Wu and Yang Chun were in the middle, and Chinda was at the rear. They went out, killing men on both sides. Shurjin was like a tiger, and nobody could stop him. They hacked their way through the cordon of soldiers. Afterwards they came across the two constables and Li Ji. When enemies meet they recognize each other clearly. The inspector, seeing that Shurjin was angry, ran away. Li Ji also turned to ran, but Shurjin caught him, and with a slash, he cut him in half with his sword. The bandit chiefs pursued the constables and dispatched them. The troops scattered in every direction. Shurjin led his men straight to Mount Shaohua, where there was a feast to celebrate the occasion. After staying a few days, Shurjin considered the position. He had saved the lives of 3 men, and some valuables, but his homestead and his property had all been destroyed. Evidently, he could not stay there, so he told the bandit chiefs that he wished to go to find his old drill instructor Wang Jin. The bandits urged him to stay and promised to erect new buildings for him, but Shurjin would not agree to this. Then Zhu Wu said they would make him their chief, and quite happy. "I am an innocent man, so how could I defile this body bequeathed to me by my parents? You need not persuade me to become a bandit." After a few days Shurjin still wanted to go, but the bandit chiefs were equally determined to keep him. Nothing could stop Shurjin, and he prepared to depart. He put on a broad-brimmed hat with a big red tassel, under it a black cloth with the corners hanging down, and a bright yellow ribbon outside. He also wore a military overcoat arranged on 2 sides. Around his waist was a girdle of plaited bands of red plum color. Black and white puttees wound tightly round his legs. His shoes were made of hemp specially suitable for hilly roads. He carried a swan feather sword with a round copper knob on the shaft, and a bundle on his back. He took leave of the 3 bandit chiefs, and descended the mountain accompanied by a large number of the bandits. The bandit chiefs shed tears when he left them. Shurjin took the direct road to Yan'an Prefecture. He took his meals when convenient, and traveled during the day, and slept at night. Traveling alone, he reached Weizhou in a little over a fortnight. He thought that as this place was a military station, he would inquire about his teacher, drill instructor Wang Jin. Upon entering the town, he saw there were many roads and much business. He found a tea shop on the roadside, where he stopped and ordered tea. He asked the waiter where the military yamen was. While they were talking, a big man came in with big strides. This man wore military dress. On his head was a piece of silk with a character Wan, and attached at the back were 2 golden rings inscribed, Taiyuan Prefecture. 52. He wore a large military coat of parrot green color, with a military belt in black. His boots were made of yellow leather with 4 seams. He had a round face, big ears, a prominent nose, a big mouth, and a bushy beard. He was quite 8 feet high and a girth of 50 inches. As he sat down, the waiter said that Shurjin might ask this officer about the drill instructor. Shurjin stood up and said, "Will you please drink tea with me?" The man also saluted, and when they both sat down Shurjin asked for his name. "I am Major Luda. May I ask your name?" "I am from Huayin County, and my name is Shurjin. I wish to ask whether you know a drill instructor called Wang Jin." Luda said, "Brother, are you not the tattooed dragon's Shurjin of the Shur village?" Shurjin admitted this, and the officer again saluted and said he had heard of him, but to meet him was much better than hearing. He then said that drill instructor Wang Jin held office under Old Zhong, the frontier general at Yan'an Prefecture. As he was the Shurjin of whom he had heard so much, he invited him to have a drink with him. The 2 men left the tea house hand in hand, and after turning several corners they went into a well-known wine shop of the Pan family. Finding a cozy room upstairs they sat down. Major Luda ordered 4 pots of wine with dishes of eatables and fruit, and they chatted about the various forms of using the lance. While they were talking, they heard someone sobbing and crying in an adjoining room. This disturbed Major Luda, who took a cup and saucer and threw them on the floor. The waiter heard the noise and saw that the major was angry. The major inquired who it was that was crying and disturbing them. The waiter said, "There is a sing-song girl with her father, and they are crying because there is no guest to engage them, and they do not know you are here." "But why do they make this noise?" said the major. "Tell them to come here." The waiter left, and in a short time a woman entered, of about 19 years of age, and behind her there was an old man of 60 years with castanets in his hand. The woman was not beautiful, yet there was something attractive about her. Wiping away her tears, she came forward and gave a woman's salutation, one hand placed on top of the other. The major asked why they cried, and she replied, "I am from Kaifeng, and I came to this place with my parents to find some relatives, but upon arrival we found they had removed to Nanjing. My mother was taken ill in an inn and died. My father and myself stayed here in distress. There is a wealthy man here nicknamed the Bully of the Western Pass. When he saw me he sent a matchmaker to demand me to be his concubine." Major Luda asked for their names and where this bully lived. The old man replied, "My name is Jean, and the baby name of my daughter is Tsuelian. The bully keeps a butcher's shop near the Zhuangyuan Bridge. We too live at the Lu family inn near the East Gate." Upon hearing this, Major Luda expressed his disgust. "Bah! I know that fellow, he was previously a butcher, and is a filthy rascal. Some time ago he asked my help in getting the garrison commander here to permit him to open his shop, and this is how he cheats people. I will go and kill him." Shurjin exhorted him repeatedly to wait till the morrow. But there was no alteration. Major Luda said, "Old man, come here. If we give you your traveling expenses, will you return to Kaifeng tomorrow?" The father and daughter replied, "If we could return to our native village, we should look upon you as our parent for this new life. But will the proprietor of our inn let us go? If we go, the bully will certainly demand the money from the inn proprietor." Major Luda said that was not important, as he had a plan. He took 5 taels of silver from his pocket and put them on the table, and then asked Shurjin if he could lend him some money till the following day. Shurjin did not want repayment, and placed an ingot of 10 taels of silver on the table. Major Luda gave this money to the old man Jean, and told him to make his arrangements at the inn, and he would come early the following morning to send them off. They gave their thanks and departed. Old Jean went outside the town and hired a cart for the following day. They paid the inn for the lodging, they packed their baggage and waited for daybreak. About 4 o'clock he lit a fire and cooked some food for breakfast. Shortly after daybreak Major Luda arrived and told them to go quickly. As they moved toward the door the waiter stopped them and explained to the major that the money for the pawning of the body was still unpaid, and the bully had ordered him to watch them. Major Luda said that he himself would pay that to the butcher, but as the waiter was unwilling to let them go, the major slapped his face so that blood flowed from his mouth. He knocked his 2 teeth out with his fist. The waiter rushed out of the inn, and the old man Jean with his daughter quickly left. Major Luda thought the waiter might intercept them, so he sat down on a stool and waited there for 2 hours. When he thought Jean had gone some distance he got up and walked to the Zhuangyuan bridge. The butcher had a double-fronted shop, 2 butcher's blocks, and about 5 sides of pork hanging. The butcher was behind the counter watching his 10 assistants selling the meat. When Major Luda arrived, he stood outside the door and called to the butcher, who came and saluted with folded hands. He said, "Excuse me," and then told an assistant to bring a stool for the major, who sat down, saying, "I have an order from the garrison commander for 13 Jean 53 of lean minced pork. He does not want the least fat in it." The butcher told his assistants to get it ready, but the major objected. "Do not let those dirty men handle the meat. You cut it yourself." "Very well," said the butcher, "I will cut it myself." He then got to the block, selected 10 Jean of lean pork, and cut it into small pieces. The waiter of the inn just then arrived with a towel wrapped round his head. When he saw Major Luda, he dare not come nearer, so he stood under the eaves of a house some distance away. It took the butcher quite half an hour to cut the meat. He then wrapped it in lotus leaves, and asked if he should send it. "Send what?" asked Major Luda. "Wait. I want another 13 Jean, and it must all be fat. There must not be any lean flesh with it. It must also be minced." "But it is now all lean pork," said the butcher. "I am afraid that the commander wants to make pork pies. What use is there for minced fat?" Major Luda stared at the butcher and said, "The commander gave me the order, so who dare ask questions? No matter what purpose it is intended for, I will cut it up." He then selected 10 Jean of the finest fat pork, minced it, and placed it in a lotus leaf. He had been cutting the pork almost all the morning, and it was now near the dinner hour. The butcher said, "Shall I tell someone to go with you to carry this to the magistrate?" Major Luda replied, "I also want 10 Jean of gristle to be chopped fine. There must be no flesh attached to it." The butcher laughed and said, "It appears as though you had specially come to waste my time." Major Luda, upon hearing this, got up and staring at the butcher said, "I certainly came to waste your time." He then picked up the 2 parcels of pork and threw them into the butcher's face, the minced pork falling like a shower of rain. The butcher was very angry, and his passion pervaded his body from his feet to the crown of his head. His heart became a burning mass of passions which could not be extinguished. He seized a sharp-pointed knife and jumped out of the shop. Major Luda had got into the street before him. There was a crowd of neighbors, but nobody dared intervene. The passers-by and the waiter from the inn were frightened out of their wits. The butcher had the knife in his right hand, and with his left he tried to seize Luda, but the major caught his left arm and kicked him in the groin, so that he fell in the street. The major took a step forward and placed his foot on the butcher's breast. He raised his fist, which was as large as a monk's alms bowl, and said, "Now you are a butcher, and are like a dog. Why did you swindle the Jin's girl, Suelian?" He struck a blow on the butcher's nose, which was broken and twisted to one side. The blood was gushing forth like the breaking of a sauce bottle. The butcher could not rise and throwing aside his knife said, "Enough." Major Luda abused him, saying, "You thieving bastard. How dare you reply?" Then lifting his fist he struck the butcher in the corner of his eye such a blow that the eyeball fell out with a display of red, black, and purple colors on his cheeks. The butcher asked to be pardoned, but Major Luda shouted, "You are a bad lot. If you were sincere I would forgive you, but I cannot do so." He thereupon hit him on the temple, and it seemed to the butcher as though a whole temple of priests were chanting their prayers, ringing bells, and clapping cymbals. The major saw that the butcher was exhaling without any intake, so he falsely spoke to him, "You are pretending to die." But he saw that his skin was gradually becoming pale. And he could hardly believe that 3 blows of his fist could have killed the man. He knew that he would be prosecuted, so he decided to go away. As he left, he saw the butcher was dead. As he went along, he turned round and abused the butcher, but the onlookers dared not interfere. Returning to his lodging, the major packed a few things and silver, and taking a cudgel he quickly left the town by the south gate. The people tried to revive the body for half a day without success, for alas, he was quite dead. The members of the family went to the yamen and, when the magistrate came, made their accusation. The magistrate thought that as Major Luda was a military officer, he had better report to the garrison commander, so at once he got in a sedan chair and went to the headquarters. When they met, the magistrate saluted, then he stated that Major Luda had killed a man, but he dared not arrest him without the general's consent. The general was startled at the news, and after some thought he asked the magistrate to arrest and try him according to the law. As Major Luda was still on the staff of the old General Zhong of the frontier, the sentence should be submitted to the latter for confirmation. The magistrate agreed to do this, and upon returning to his yamen he took his seat on the bench, and issued a warrant for the arrest of Major Luda. The inspector who received the warrant proceeded to the lodgings of the major, but he found no clue there. Moreover, as he did not know where he had gone, he arrested the landlord and 2 of the neighbors. The magistrate sent these men temporarily to the detention house, and ordered the coroner to make a careful post-mortem examination of the corpse, then have the body placed in a coffin, and deposited it in the courtyard of a temple awaiting further developments. He then issued a proclamation giving details of the murder, a full description of the major, with a reward of 1,000 strings of cash for his arrest. This was printed and posted in public places in every district. Luda traveled hastily without any definite object in view. When hungry, he took any food that was ready, when cold, any clothing available, hurrying, he did not choose road, and being poor he would have taken any woman as his wife. In just more than a fortnight he reached Yanmen County in the Daizhou prefecture, and entering the town on a market day he found that the streets were crowded and noisy. Horses and carts were passing along side by side. There were all kinds of traders selling and buying goods from all parts. Although it was only a county town, yet it was better than many a prefectural capital for business. Arriving at the crossroads, he saw a crowd looking at a proclamation. He forced his way through the crowd, and as he could not read, he listened to one man who was reading it aloud. It was the proclamation about himself, warning the people not to harbor him, and offering a reward for his arrest. When he had listened to this, he heard a voice behind him say, "Elder brother Zhang, what are you doing here?" He was then pulled away from the crossroads. We will now relate how Luda had his head shaved, and his beard cut off, changed his name, and destroyed a Buddhist disciple. His staff cleared the roads from danger. His sword killed the vicious people. Footnote 52. The character 1 is described as a swastika in Jackson's translation, by virtue of the physical appearance of the way the Chinese character is written. 1 literally means 10,000, and it may also mean myriad, or a great many. Hence it is used to suggest bounty, or longevity. English-speaking readers may know it in from the Chinese phrase used in exaltation to the Emperor Wan Sui, "May you live 10,000 years, or the same phrase in Japanese, bonsai. 53. A measurement of weight approximating a pound. Historically expressed in English as a caddy.